my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just know passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love, those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
For joining us. If you're on TikTok, you already know the rules. You gotta move over to YouTube or I won't acknowledge you. It's just the way we get down. We answer questions off the YouTube crowd. Excuse me as I keep figuring out all my stuff over here. Let's say a couple of things before we get started. Once again, thank you guys for being here. If you don't know the format of the show, it's pretty simple. I go through whatever's trending in the world of sports to start every single show. And then I move over to your guys' questions, and you ask all the questions you want to ask. I answer them as best I can. It's a Q&A. Doesn't matter where you're coming from. Doesn't matter what pocket of the world you're in, what sport you want to ask about, what team, what player. Typically, Rico knows. Now, there are times I get stumped, and I don't like to be stumped. I hope it's not intentional, but it's just a genuine conversation we're having, and I owe you one. And then we'll go from there. Nonetheless, we'll start the show. Shout out to everybody on TikTok and YouTube. The numbers are low right now. Watch it go. We're sitting at 7 and 14. Let's see where we're at in about 30 minutes. All right, let's go. So the first thing I want to talk about, the U.S. Women's National Team, USWNT. The U.S. Women's National Team, our soccer team, is utterly atrocious right now. And I say atrocious because they can't win games. They're getting draws. They're out there just 0-0 draw. They knew a 0-0 draw would get them into the knockout round, the round of the 16. I need you guys to understand how significant this is. So I'm going to try to put it in football perspective. Imagine Alabama just playing good enough to qualify for bowl season. What if they played like that was their goal? What if they went out there and they played like it was their goal to make it to the bowl season? You'd look at them and go, why aren't we trying to win a national title? This is what we're built for. This is our pedigree. This is our standard. What are we doing? If you guys didn't know, we've won 4 cups, 4 World Cups in women's soccer. Women's Soccer World Cup didn't start till 1991, officially 91. And we've won 4 of those damn things, and we've never finished outside of the top 3. We are the perennial power in the world. Now, they'll tell you people are spending money. Other countries are closing the gap and catching up. I don't believe that for a second. Not a red cent has me convinced that other countries are closing the gap on our women's soccer team. No way. We have the best soccer team in the world. We always have. But my goodness, are they not focused? They'd rather worry about taking a knee before the game, before the match. This will serve them. This will show them. We stand in solidarity. It's the exact opposite. One of you's on a floor on your knee. One of you's is in front of every camera talking about how legendary your relationship is. No one gives a shit about your sexual origin. Can you play soccer? Apparently you can't, Parappa the Rappa. Get off the damn soccer team. You don't bring anything to that locker room. I saw them celebrating and cheering like they won something. And they didn't even win the match. But in the comments, people were telling me we need to blame Vlatko, the manager of the team. Vlatko here. We need to blame him. Yeah, easy to blame the guy who's a white European dude and not blame the girls on the actual field, on the pitch. I got news for you guys. These girls are not playing great. And you don't blame this guy. Let me tell you something. Everybody, the latest fad is let's blame Vlatko. I pulled it up, y'all, because we're not going to have this. Hold on, my computer's playing tricks on me. Here it is. Here's our women's soccer team this year. You guys see this right here? Where we were winning every match before we got here. We were winning them all. And we gave up 1 goal in the last 10 matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, we gave up 1. We had no ties. Okay, no draws. Gave up 1 goal to Brazil back in February. You're telling me this man who's been coaching and managing our team since 2019 magically can't do it anymore. Magically, he's the problem. Let me tell you what the problem is over here. They're too busy with their Twitter fingers trying to tell the world that they're woke. Talking about their perceived slight, whatever that is. Stop using your platform to push your agenda. Go out and win soccer matches. Then we'll ask you what the hell we think of you. We'll ask you, hey, what do you think of this? Let me explain. No one gives a shit what anybody thinks. It's after you become great at something, then people start asking for your opinion. Let me give you an example. If there was a homeless guy out there giving me financial advice, I would ignore him tenfold. A homeless guy giving me financial advice, no thanks. An obese person telling me how to work out and lose weight, no thanks. Somebody with no kids trying to tell me how to raise my children, I'll pass. How about you never been married? You never been married, but you want to give me advice on how to have a really good marriage. Shout out to all those single people out there giving advice on how to make their relationships work. I don't want to hear from any of you. But there are a certain number of credible people who can do this thing, and I'm going to explain it. You give a sports take, and people watch it, and people hear you, and they go, wow, you're pretty good at that. Well, what's your opinion on this? Well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And they start asking you more and more questions. Okay? There are people who don't understand that sometimes you're so articulate and you're so good at what you do, people are going to ask for your advice. People are going to ask for your input. But you had to have some form of credibility for them to come back and want to know more. This happens to me every single day. I'll make a top 25 list. I'll make a top 10 list, and then somebody will go, hey, Rico, what about top 10 FCS? What about top 10 group of 5? What about top 10 this? It's because they're intrigued and they want to know more. Nobody is intrigued and wants to know more about the political backings or the agenda of these women who are supposed to be kicking a ball on a field. Seriously, no one gives a shit what you've got to say. Go win your matches, and then we might interview and go, oh, by the way, where are you going to go? Now that you've won, where are you going? You're going to Disneyland? Cool. Do you support Disney? Got it. No one wants to ask you any questions when you're out there not scoring goals. Hey, so what was your workout? What did you do to prepare for this game? No one's asking you that. You didn't do anything in the game. The match. Your girls were terrible. Look, man, Abby Wambach's not walking through that door. Mia Hamm's not walking through that door. Brandy Chastain not walking through that door. Brianna Scurry, Hope Solo, Alex Morgan. I'm not a soccer fan. And I can name people that are on the soccer team from years ago. You know why? Because they won shit. Because they were great. They were historical. They're worth remembering. These girls out there taking knees, trying to get me to care about who the hell they're fucking. Hard pass, bro. Hard pass. I know your name for all the wrong reasons. I won't even say the dude's name. Parappa the Rapper. It's an amazing video game. I don't want to watch these women play soccer. They need to lose and get knocked down a peg or two. They need to hit rock bottom, whatever that is. They need to be embarrassed on national TV. I hope they kneel for it, too. I hope they just start taking knees all over the damn pitch. That would be great. Shout out to me. Hey, Sean Payton got interviewed. Sean Payton said Nathaniel Hackett was the worst coach in the history of the NFL over how many game period it was? And Nathaniel Hackett came out and said, hey, man, you broke the bro code. You broke the coach's code. You know why the coaches have a code? You know why the coaches don't say anything negative about each other in public? Not only are they going to work for one another again, but it's because coaching in the NFL is littered. Littered is not a positive word. Littered has a negative connotation. It is littered with nepotism. And if you don't know what nepotism is, it means you got the job because you're related to somebody. It means you got the hookup and you have an advantage because you have relational ties. This is why Bill Belichick's son has a job or Kirk Ferentz' son has a job. Because it's littered with nepotism, they carry themselves with an unwritten rule. We don't talk about one another. Please, you were terrible. You ain't got shit to say. The fact that you have a job, the fact that Nathaniel Hackett is even employed is ridiculous. He brings no value to any organization. And what he did when in charge of the Broncos should go down as a lesson learned. In other words, when you're trying to become a coach, you should have to go to these courses. And these courses should teach you how to conduct yourself as a coach, how to be a player's coach, how to be an X's and O's coach. And then one of the blocks you should have to watch is do not do. Do not duplicate. And they should show you failed interviews and failed decision-making and failed, trades when a coach demanded at the GM, hey, you need to get rid of this guy. We don't need him anymore. They need to do that. Lessons learned of all the things you should never do. And Nathaniel Hackett should be all over that shit because he is the worst. I'm not taking it back. Now, the cool thing is Sean Payton said he's going to call Rob Saleh, the head coach, and call Nathaniel Hackett personally and apologize to both of them for saying those negative things about the offensive coordinator of the Jets. Got news for you. He hasn't made the phone call. He's not going to make the phone call. There will be no apology. He said it publicly. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to call those guys. We don't need no closure, bruh. You ever broken up with a girl? You ever said some negative shit about her? You ever said something negative after the relationship? Yeah, man, I do it all the time. Who cares? You don't need no closure. We don't need to talk about it. I know how you feel. Ain't nothing gentleman about it. If I break up with a girl and then I go on the internet and I go, yo, man, she was whack, bro. Shit was whack. This girl, hey, her food tastes like shit. I couldn't eat her food. She can't cook. She always smelled like tuna, bro. I'm out of here. If you do that, we don't need to call and apologize. Just keep it moving, bro. I told you the truth. Let's keep it moving. Thank you, Sean Payton, telling the truth. Don't back out now. Don't backpedal. Now, coach is telling the truth. Coach is telling the truth. Dan Lanning had the nerve to say, who is Colorado? What did they win in our conference? What did they win in our conference? Dan Lanning, what have you won in the conference? Colorado didn't win anything in the Pac-12, but Dan Lanning, your first year in the conference with a superiorly talented team, with a professional quarterback in Bo Nix, you lost to your neighbor, bro. You lost to a guy down the street from you with half the muscle mass and half the flash. Dan Lanning talking shit about Coach Prime and Colorado saying, what if they won? They didn't do anything in our conference. Why am I going to talk about them? Bro, you haven't won anything in the conference. I haven't seen any team in the conference do less with more. Let me repeat that again. Do less with more. They have more talented players. They have a bigger recruiting budget. They have all the fancy uniforms. And they ain't winning shit. Losing to Oregon State. Oregon State was losing that game and didn't throw a pass. All they did was run. All they did was run in the second half. Run after run after run. Oregon, if you can't beat Oregon State, you don't get to talk smack. You don't get to talk out of turn. Next time they ask you, how do you feel about Colorado leaving the conference? Just keep it real. Say, with them departing, the conference is easier for us to win. We're still trying to win the conference. We haven't done that yet. Not since I've been here. I'm trying to win all my games. Thank goodness they're off our schedule. I'm trying to win all my games. I want to schedule Portland State, Eastern Washington, Sacramento State. I don't want to schedule those Beavers down the street. The Beavers, they smashed us. No pause needed. They smashed us raw, second half. Rammed it. Speaking of the Beavers, man, these ESPN-esque segues are insane. Speaking of the Beavers, they just lost Jam Griffin, y'all. Jam Griffin, the third leading rusher for Oregon State, just jumped in the transfer portal today, 2 days before you start preseason camp. This has got to suck for Oregon State. So this is a 400-yard rusher last season, but he's even better than that, guys. Over a 5 yards a carry, less than 100 carries last season. He's got no wear and tear on his body. This guy in high school rushed for 2,800 yards at Rome, right? I think at the time they were 5A, but 6A, 5A level program. Pretty damn good school here in Georgia. Very talented. 5th all-time in the history of Georgia high school football. Jam Griffin is a great running back. Been at Oregon State. Was initially started at Georgia Tech. Was in the backfield with Jahmyr Gibbs. We're telling you, he has shared a backfield like you wouldn't believe. And then he goes over to Oregon State, and they got Deshaun Fenwick, great running back out of South Carolina. Obviously, Damian Martinez, almost a 1,000-yard rusher. But Oregon State had a 3-headed monster at running back, and now they lose Jam Griffin. I wonder where he goes. Jamoris Griffin, from one of the most talented families you're ever going to see. There are 4 brothers. I think he has a sister as well, but there are 4 brothers. All played college football. All of them studs. One brother at Georgia Military College, another brother at Georgia Tech, just like he was, another brother at Virginia Tech, and I'm forgetting one. But I'm telling you, they're great. The Griffin boys are great. Wonder where Jam Griffin's going. Excited for it. The Browns, bruh. The Browns don't know how to fly, you guys. They had a flight with United Airlines, and they trashed the plane. Now, this is a little bit much. It says caused massive delays. Massive delays? No. The next flight landed 14 minutes late. Okay, that's not massive delays. I've been on the tarmac for 3 hours once. They wouldn't let us off the plane. They just kept us parked in the plane on the tarmac with the damn door shut, no AC blowing, just sitting in that damn thing for 3 hours. I remember that vividly. I've flown a lot in my life. But here, the Browns team trashed a plane that was landing in the Dulles airport. From Cleveland to Dulles, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I hope they play well on Thursday. They got to play their preseason game on Thursday. I hope they don't get beat up, but this is just a little dramatic. Hey, treat planes nicely, bro. How hard is it to just fly and eat your food and chill and listen to music? Put your headphones in. What are you doing? How do you trash a plane? Nick Young, speaking of trash, how you like that segue? Speaking of trash, Nick Young showed up at USC alumni. If you guys don't know, remember Nick Young? He's the one who shoots threes and thinks they're good and turns around and walks away like he made it, and he didn't. Nick Young showed up to play a game, alumni against USC. Nick Young's playing in jean shorts. We call them jean shorts. Now, everybody's fancy and goes, those are jorts, Rico. Those are jorts. Not when I was a kid. We just called them jean shorts. Now, I remember my girlfriend had a skirt. That was a skirt and a shorts underneath. I was severely disappointed. Every time her skirt flew up, it was shorts. I was like, damn, man, I'm trying to get there. Come on now. Shout out to Regina Luna. But anyways, Nick Young, Swaggy P, out here playing in jean shorts. I'm assuming he got them from the Goodwill. No one's wearing jean shorts today. They better be hand-me-downs. They better be from a thrift store. If you start telling me, oh, Rico, those are true religion. Those are this, those are that. Shut up. I've seen some terrible clothes lately, and all the kids spam me and go, Rico, that's Chrome Hearts. That's the business. You don't even know. That's the real. Shut up. You guys sound like the morons who used to wear Ed Hardy t-shirts in 2008. Spamming to me talking about, these are Ed Hardy. Ed Hardy, buddy. Yeah, okay. And you're the same ones going in Banana Republic, Hollister. I went into a Hollister. I went in there because the music was popping. I heard some music up top, and I was like, yo, I like they're playing Latch. You guys remember the Latch? That's what it's called, Latch, right? I was like, yo, this song is clean. I'm just in there just listening. So I'd pretend like I'm shopping. I grabbed one of these extra large shirts. Extra large. That shit wouldn't fit me in a million years. My arms didn't fit in it, bro. It couldn't even get over my head and neck and arms and shoulders. Like, it wasn't made for me. I usually wear an extra large shirt. Shout out to Under Armour. Shout out to Grunt Style. But at Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister, I don't fit in none of those clothes. Skinny jeans, bro. Skinny jeans. That's what you guys wear. Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje says, I ain't fighting Conor McGregor. If you don't know Justin Gaethje this weekend, he won his main event fight. He won the BMF belt. He did a head kick to Conor McGregor, or to Dustin Poirier. It was great. It was a revenge. It was a rubber match, right? He was beating him in a rematch. Not rubber match, but just a rematch. And Justin Gaethje says, yo, I ain't fighting Conor McGregor. The dude's on the juice. He's not in the USADA testing pool. If you guys didn't know, Conor McGregor is not in the USADA testing pool right now. So obviously he's popping everything, and that's why he's so big and strong. Nobody wants to fight that. Nobody wants to fight a cheater. They're tired of fighting Jon Jones, man. That guy's a cheater as well. But, yeah, Gaethje said, nah, get him off the juice, get him into the testing pool, and then I'll think about it. But shout out to Justin Gaethje. I think I'd fight Conor McGregor on the juice, bro. The pay's got to be good. Go ahead and do it. That's all I'm saying. I'm almost getting to you guys. We're here. Hey, Dylan Stewart, a 5-star commit. He's going to South Carolina. And, look, I'm not going to talk recruiting. I don't care that a 5-star commit committed to South Carolina. Here's what I want to show you. At the bottom of this paragraph, after they're talking about all this stuff, the number 15 recruit, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God, Beamer got him. Beamer got it. Go to the bottom. Last paragraph. It says, Stewart is the first 5-star recruit to pick the Gamecocks since Jordan Birch. You know where Jordan Birch is right now? He just transferred to Florida State. He's not even at your school. So the fact that you're getting 5-star athletes and players means nothing because they hit the transfer portal and end up at another school. Let me know when you get a 5-star transfer. Now I know he's going to play for you. But this kid, Stewart, he didn't impress me. He has the nerve to say in here, look at this quote he says, "I'm a day one starter." Maybe you are. Maybe you are. Maybe you're a day one starter for another team. Because that's all ridiculous. Everybody wants to talk about Mazi Smith. He's a day one starter in the NFL. First round draft pick for the Dallas Cowboys. He said, "I don't even like football. I like hitting people." Well, that's a little dangerous. You're a defensive tackle. You don't really hit anyone as a defensive tackle. You're at the line of scrimmage. There's another man in front of you just as big as you, and you have to maintain your gap space for the most part. You're not really hitting anybody. Linebackers, DBs, you're hitting people. Defensive linemen hitting, I don't know if that's true. But if he enjoys hitting people and he doesn't really like football, that's not good, man. I want him to love football. Now, there's a video out here of him against Tyron Smith. And Tyron Smith moved him off the ball, bruh. This rookie, look at this right here. Getting down blocked and blown off the ball. You're messing with a grown man. Okay, guys? This is not Michigan and Ohio State. First off, Tyron Smith's out here going to do a down block on you. You're in what appears to be the B gap. And you're going to get blown. Boom! That man almost fell over. Look at that. You can't be hopping on one foot. This ain't hopscotch. Look at that, hopping on one foot. That should tell you how strong certain NFL players are. Tyron Smith, USC's finest. Tyron Smith, one of the best damn left tackles in the world when he's not injured. Probably the best. And he took Mazi Smith, a 330-pound kid in his prime, and he just made him look silly. Made him look like a ballerina. It's incredible. Talking about looking silly. How about Achilles Smith Jr.? Achilles Smith Jr. committed to Oregon. Now, he might stick to this commitment because his dad's telling him to go. He's a class of 2025, so he's going into his junior year this year of high school. But he says he's committed to go to Oregon. 4-star guy. Haven't looked at his film yet. Couldn't tell you how good he is. But shout out to Achilles Smith for having a kid to try to, what's the word? I don't know, but he's going to try to do better than his dad did. That's all I can tell you. Let's go. All right, we're going to jump in the chat, and then once we're done with the chat, I'll come back to the transfer portal, talk to you guys about who's left in the portal and why they're still there. I'm only going to go over probably about 10 guys, and then we'll call it a day. But let me get to the chat, see what your questions are. Looks like it's going to be a nice short day for us, and that's cool. All right, 1 second. Let me unpin this message here. What up, Rico? Teach. What up, Boss Omar? Thank you for being here. If you're watching us on TikTok, move over, give us a like, and let us know what's going down. Did you see the Division II, AJ Interviews says, did you see the Division II school that got shut down? Not a lot of guys have to enter the transfer portal. Alderson Broadus in the GMAC conference. Don't know why they shut down their athletics. I didn't see it, AJ. I'll probably have to look into it. That's news to me. Thank you for the heads up. Do you think Northwestern will have a large wave of transfers in the next cycle? I think there was player hesitation to jump in the portal because of the short window before camp kicked off. So Robert Lopez, not necessarily. Usually what happens is in the next cycle, they're going to have a new head coach. But their current coach, David Braun, is their defensive coordinator. He just got hired, and I think he's a really good coach. I think you'd be surprised how much these kids value a Northwestern education. That's why they didn't jump in the portal. Northwestern, you don't go to Northwestern to become an NFL football player. You go there for the notoriety of that degree. So I don't think too many guys are going to jump in the portal. Now, what's too many? Definitely not 20, right? So, and whoever they hire might be a really exciting new hire and keep the guys that stick around. You'll see. Gators going 12-0 and losing first round of the college football playoff. Let me give you guys a second here. I got to write some notes in because I'm going to go back to that Northwestern prediction. And when I come back to my notes, I try to find where I say, I was right? I try to make an I am right video. I have to know what video I said this in, so I write the notes here, just so you know. It's part of my organization. Don't even ask. Nonetheless, this guy says Gators are going 12-0 and losing in the first round of the college football playoffs. T-Dog. They can't do that. There's 12 games in the season. Then they have the SEC championship game, which would make them 13-0. And then they got the playoffs. So they'd have to be 13-0 and lose in the playoffs, just so we're aware. I'm a stickler for accuracy. And if they win the playoffs, they would be 15-0 to win the national title, just like Georgia was this year. Bluffington High, South Carolina, skill guys with like 30 offers. Transfer quarterback came in and would love a blind review. Phil Bays, the line for blind reviews is literally 1,000 players deep. I hate to break it to everybody. So you can send the request in. I don't care what the storyline is, how you wrote it here. It doesn't matter to me. I'm loyal to the chronological order of requests, meaning whoever sent the request in first come, first serve. So you can send the request into my DMs. There's a insanely long line. I'm not kidding. It's 1,000 deep. The kids went crazy over the last month. They've been sending me 50 a day. I'm not joking. When did the U.S. start playing not to lose? Exactly, Robert Lopez. As soon as they started feeling like they were being slighted and they wanted more money. Do you watch a ton of FCS football during the season or FBS? So, AJ, no. I only watch FBS. There's there's generally between 65 and 70 FBS games every single week, and I have to split them up and watch them throughout the week. So I watch games every single day, every single week, and I try to catch up. I don't only watch games on Saturday. No. I watch games on Saturday, about 3 at a time, but throughout the week, I watch all the other conferences. So I pick a conference, I go through all their games. I try to find highlights, watch the game, condensed versions, study box scores. I pick a different conference every day. And then Fridays, I focus on high school football only. And that's kind of how my battle rhythm goes during the week. I have no time for FCS until the playoffs. I have no time for NFL until the playoffs. So that's how I get down. I don't even watch NFL games. I don't. I let them play. I'll check box scores. I'll check highlights. I mean, I know who they are. I know everything about the NFL players. I know everything about the game. I'm very focused on college football, and I watch all of it. Why is DeMar playing football again? With all due respect, I will never watch another Bills game until he leaves. Flyboy, I don't know. I'll never watch another Bills game either until Josh Allen leaves. What did he do? I don't know what he did. I refuse to support a team of a country whom doesn't support the actual country they support. Oh, I'm with you, Jason. Not happening under any circumstances. Steve, what's good, folks? Welcome in. RicoKnows.org. Hey, if you guys want to get your shirts and all your other stuff, RicoKnows.org. Go get it. Sweden will obliterate the U.S. in Group of 16. Celebrate that. Keep dancing for being in the Sweet 16. Hey, shout out to IKEA. They look real. What up, Rico? Preach. What up, Tom Rose? Good to hear from you, brother. Oregon, going to get Oregon State this year. It's a different game when it's in Autzen. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's the same game. It's football. It's just on a field. How long were you stuck on a roller coaster? I was stuck on a roller coaster for about 40 minutes. What people don't understand, getting stuck on a roller coaster, highly, highly dangerous for a couple of reasons. Number one, your seat is made of metal. So you're sitting on a metal seat. Now, it was June. It was June. And in June, I don't know what the weather's like in Florida all the time, but that day it was 100 degrees, very humid. And we didn't know we were going to get stuck on it, so we didn't prepare accordingly. Like, we didn't hydrate before we got on. We had nothing to eat or drink all day long. So people always go like, oh, my God, they were thirsty and hungry. They were only there for 45 minutes. You don't understand. We had nothing to eat or drink for 5 hours before that, okay? So there's that. The other thing is you don't know when it's going to end, and you can't move, so you can't dry the sweat off your body, okay? So I was stuck on a roller coaster with my two children, my two oldest children, and my children are stuck on these seats as well. And I'm concerned immediately they're not letting us off, and you can't move, so there's no way to dry your sweat. If you don't know about our epidermis, our skin, it makes us the most elite hunters in the world because we cool our bodies with perspiration and evaporation, right? The only reason we are not the only reason, but one of the main reasons we're at the top of the food chain is because we don't pant to cool our bodies. The most inefficient way to cool your body is panting, like cats, dogs, tigers, lions. They all pant. They hang their tongue out of their mouth, and the blood going through their tongue gets cool from the cool air hitting their tongue, and then it circulates back into their body to cool them off. It's very inefficient. It's not good. For humans, we sweat. And then any little breeze helps our sweat dry. Or, more importantly, you can move and cause the breeze. This is why field workers wear long sleeves. They sweat in their long sleeves, and then, it holds in the water, the moisture, and it cools you as you walk. This is why they wear all that attire in the Middle East. You can't do that when you're stuck on a roller coaster. You can work all day on a roof. You can work all day on a field. You can actually stand in line for a roller coaster for hours on end because you're moving while you're in line and you're finding shade and you're grabbing something to drink. You're doing all. You can't do that when you're stuck on a roller coaster. You're just stuck sitting in the sun on a blazing hot seat. I want to challenge everybody. Go in 100-degree weather. Go sit in your car with the windows down, but just sit there. Put on the seatbelt and just sit there. Now, we had harnesses and all kinds of other stuff, but just sit in your car. Maybe you got a convertible. Sit in your car, and I'm not going to tell you when you get out. You just got to sit there till I relieve you, till I come get you out. Good luck. Now, don't just do it alone, though. Take your children with you. Strap them in, too. See how long before we all start losing our stuff. Now, I played it pretty cool. I just recorded it and just let it chill. But this happened last year. A lot of people started talking smack, making fun of me. Oh, my God, he's crying, da-da-da. Just do the scenario I just said. Just go sit down for 45 minutes on a blazing hot seat on a metal chair in the sun, and you can't move. Good luck. You're going to be done. I'm letting you know now. Jorts are the bottom half of a Canadian tuxedo. Shout out to you. Sean Payton does not care about code. He didn't even pay his fine to the league. What a bum. I'm here, clones. What up, Willie Bobo? We got clones up in here. I appreciate you. The girls' soccer team is atrocious. Hey, and not only are they atrocious, but my goodness, aren't they ugly? I'm telling you, a lot of them are ugly. Justin has a point. He stated he has never cheated and refuses to fight anyone who has, a.k.a. McGregor. I'm with it all day. I'm with it all day. Currently watching, but you know what else Justin said? Justin said, I've never taken steroids, but I probably would if I retired. Bro, what did you just say? He said he's going to take steroids once he retires. That shit blew me away. That's hilarious. Currently watching Unnecessary Roughness. Shout out to Kathy Ireland. And the shower scene. Shout out to her. What up, Mr. Talbot? Gators going 12-0 in the regular season. Thoughts? Yeah, not happening, T-Dog. I think they're going 6-6 at best. I'm looking more like 4 wins for Florida. At Rico. Did you not hear? Graham Mertz threw a pick 6 at practice. And then they took him out and Miller got in, threw another pick 6. Both of them to a true freshman. Yeah, they're right on cue. They're doing great. Rico, if and when the Big 12 turns into a basketball conference, they already are a basketball conference. They just won 2 of the last 3 national titles. Where will the big football programs, Colorado Hope fans, that's us, move on to? There's zero loyalty, so they'll easily move on somewhere else. No, I mean, they're going to follow whatever trend they want to follow, man. Are you kidding me? People jump on bandwagons all day. It's no big deal. They jump on bandwagons. They were ready to start cheering for Bethune-Cookman and pretending to be HBCU fans. Do you know how many people were ready to be Bethune-Cookman and HBCU fans because of Ed Reed? It's utter ridiculousness. They are a walking shitstorm, steaming pile. Nobody wants to watch them, but then magically, you don't know how many Bethune-Cookman fanatics started hitting me up in my comments. I've never met so many Colorado fans in my life. I'm telling you. All these Colorado fans that hit me up, I guarantee you this. They don't know who Jeremy Bloom is. They know Rashawn Salam, but they don't know Jeremy Bloom. And that's my point. Just some bandwagon fans, man. They ain't real. Thoughts on incoming Florida transfers? Lots of underrated guys. Yeah, they're so underrated. I don't think very highly of them. Caleb Brook, not a chance in hell. The Florida transfers, I don't think they knocked it out the park. I made a video about this. I talked about how Billy Napier struggled with getting players in just to visit. They couldn't even get players in to visit from the transfer portal. So the guys they actually did get, they were so slow to get people approved for visits and admissions that when they finally got a guy from the transfer portal, that meant nobody else wanted him. I'm serious. That's what it means. Like, other teams were moving so fast, getting guys in for visits, giving offers. They were signing guys left and right, like Cal, right? Cal Berkeley was signing everybody in the spring. They just kept winning. They were just getting guys. Ole Miss, just getting guys. Boom, boom, boom. You can get all these transfers. Guess who wasn't getting any transfers in the spring? Florida. And it wasn't by choice. It was because by the time they got them approved for a visit, they were already gone. It was too late. And that's a problem with Florida's admissions. That's a problem with Florida coaching staff. The burden is with all of them. So, no, I'm very underwhelmed by Florida's transfers. I went to the NW, Northwestern, for the girls and the drinks. Okay. We are too good for the SEC championship, so they're going to sit on that for charity. Okay. Mazzy saying he doesn't like football. He just likes to hit people. Reminds me of Trevor Pinning making someone ask him if he loves about what he loves about football, hitting somebody. My man's math about Florida's record screams, and I promise graduation. Yes, Jason, I promise. The school LeBron's sponsoring, nobody can pass math. They would think that you could go 12-0. What's up with the Josh Allen hate? Bro is an MVP candidate every year. Yeah, Marcus Stewart, you guys just don't know what you're looking at. Josh Allen is not a good player. Poor decision-making, not clutch. He's the benefit of having a great quarterbacks coach and a really good wide receiver. And Dabo got him on track. There was a huge jump in production once they hired Ken Dorsey as the quarterbacks coach, who also, by the way, Ken Dorsey's the reason Cam Newton was in MVP. Ken Dorsey coming in, Dabo coming in. They both fixed this guy, but he's just not it. He's still not it. He doesn't make the right decisions when needed. He's not clutch. He'll never win anything of significance. He's not an MVP candidate to me. He's just the first guy to lose to the Chiefs every year. That's all it is. There's nothing else to it. You got an amazing wide receiver in Diggs. Diggs showed up. Give him his numbers. Give him his targets, and you'll go ham. Congrats. I don't see it. Josh Allen, I've watched the tape over and over and over. I don't see the player that anybody talks about. Not high on Josh Allen. I don't even think he's top 5. He's not it for me under any circumstances. I hope Achilles Smith's son does well in Oregon because his father... Whoa, the chat jumped on me right as I was saying it. What just happened? Sorry, guys. Because his father didn't receive a 10-year guaranteed journeyman bus contract in the NFL. He played like crap. He got a chance to start, and he blew it. Right? That's the 99 draft. Don't give me any racial nothing. In the 99 draft, there was 6 black quarterbacks drafted. They all had a chance to be great, and he wasn't one of them. Shout out to Donovan McNabb. But that's Achilles Smith's fault. You got a chance to be on the field and start, and you blew it. Get out of here. We don't ever want to see you on the field again. Do you think it was wise of Spencer Sanders to leave Oklahoma State and Gundy? Hindsight's 20/20. Maybe he wasn't wanted. Maybe it is wise. We don't know the circumstance. Is he going to play elsewhere? I don't think so. Rico Knows needs to attend a game day event with a sign that says Rico Knows. I don't want to do it, Willie Bobo. Somebody else needs to do it. Thoughts on Dylan Stewart? None. Marty Mappow getting starting reps at linebacker spots. Going to be a great player, like you said. I told you guys this from the jump. As soon as I saw the tape, I saw an amazing Hall of Fame level player. I never talk like that about players. You guys have seen me do film review on all kinds of NFL guys, all kinds of college prospects, whatever. I never use the term Hall of Fame player ever. I watched Marty Mappow and I said, whoa, that's the best player I've seen on tape. I think he's a natural football player, and I think he's the best player in the draft. Like, I was like immediately said it. I never gotten off of it. And I don't have to. He's a starter, like I said. Rico always knows Terrell Smith is killing it in camp, and Tyreek Stevenson is up and down in camp. Bro, I told you guys this. Terrell Smith is better than this guy right here. I told you this. Tariq Stevenson was only drafted because he's a former Georgia player and because the recruiting website said he had the right metrics. But I watched him on tape. That guy, I don't care what his 40 is, I don't care what his shuttle is or not, he plays slower than snail snot. He's a liability on defense. Oh, my goodness. 136 degrees. There we go. We know about that heat. Yes, we do. I'm enjoying the top 25 coaching rankings. Yes, Trent Dilfer, number 17. I love the show. Thank you so much, Austin Tyler. You know, I saw your comment earlier today. I do series like that, top 25 coaches, top 50 transfer portal players, and it only gets 2,000 or 3,000 views per video. I don't care. What I know is that those 2,000 or 3,000 people that are watching those videos, they're my fans. They're going to be here in the live chat. They're going to be here with the show every day. I have to cater to those fans more than the random videos I get. Look, man, I've got over 35 videos now with 100,000 views in the last 2 months. I don't care about any of those. Like, I really don't care about all the views and all that random stuff. We're over 82,000 followers now. Don't care. Nope. What I care about is this core nucleus I see here every single day. I recognize the names, guys like Jason, guys like Willie Bobo, right? Obviously Steve and Kim. But I look at you guys and I just go, we're going to make this happen. Every single day we're going to have our fan base. And it's going to be unique. It's going to be exclusive to us. And we'll be on our journey together. And I'm just grateful you guys are here every day to talk sports with me. Shout out to all of you. I know there's 51 people in here, and I'm not saying I don't appreciate you guys because I do. But the regulars that I see every single day, you guys make it possible, man. I appreciate you. Down to my core. Thank you, Austin, Tyler, for going back and watching the top 25 coaches. I made that playlist. You guys can go through all of them. Thank you for watching it. I appreciate you, man. 25 days to college football. Yes, it is. Remember, I'm doing the top 50 transfer portal players, and I did number 25 today. It's not a coincidence. It's because there are 25 days left in the season, meaning I will tell you the number one player in the transfer portal on offense and defense 1 day before the season starts. You can stick a fork in me if I sat for 45 minutes in 100-degree heat. Yep, it's pretty bad. Do you believe Justin Fields is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL? We too shiesty. I do not believe that for a second because I don't rate him very high. He'd be overrated if I thought highly of him. I don't think highly of Justin Fields. I think he plays terrible. I don't know what anybody sees in him. More power to him. You know, I'm not cool with Justin Fields for one reason and one reason only. When Justin Fields lost the quarterback battle to Jake Fromm, he jumped in the transfer portal, and he went to Ohio State. And then he petitioned, and he appealed to the NCAA that he should get a hardship waiver and be allowed to play at Ohio State immediately and not lose a year of eligibility because he was a victim of racial slurs. He was a victim of racial slurs. They couldn't prove it. They didn't have anybody that they knew said it, but he said he heard it from the stands as he was leaving the field. Da-da-da-da. He had all these racial slurs and all this stuff going on. I think he's a liar. That's why I got beef with him. I think he's a liar. And you know why I think he's a liar? Because his sister is at Georgia right now playing softball. And if I was a victim of racial slurs at a university by the fan base, why would I be okay with my sister going there? The first thing I would do is say, no, we don't go there anymore. You know, I once was a victim of racial profiling in Dillon, South Carolina. I got a flat tire / I had a belt break while I was driving down the road on I-95 South. I was coming from D.C. I was going down to Florida to buy a house. And this belt broke. My AC went out. I was like, what the hell happened? I pulled over. Oil was spewing everywhere. It was like out of the movies. I'm like, what the hell is this? Well, back then, there was no smartphones. But I had something called a TomTom. It was a GPS thing. And I used it. And I tried to find the nearest shop to help me. And I called these guys. They'd answer the phone. Hello? What you need? Real Southern shit. No, we don't do that around here. No, I can't help you. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Finally got on the phone with one person, and he's like, okay, what's your name, boss? I said, my name is Rico. He said, Rico? What kind of name is that? I said, it's just the name I was given. He goes, okay, what's your last name? I said, Rico. He goes, Rico, you got the same first and last name? Hung up on me. So I was down to the last shop that could help me on the side of the road to tow my vehicle and maybe repair this belt that's broken. Down to the last shop. I called him. They answer the phone. I say, hey, how y'all doing? They said, oh, how's it going? I said, nothing much. Just broke down over here on the side of the road. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm out here. Yeah. I got Texas plates. I'm broken down on this exit right here. Can y'all help me out? He's like, sure thing. Jumped in the damn tow truck, got there, pulled up, saw me. He goes, all right. We get in the bed of the truck. He goes, what's your name, sir? I said, oh, my name's Rico. He goes, Rico, what kind of name is that? I said, oh, man, it's American, but my parents are from Mexico, so that's what we got to go with. But my name's Rico. I'm from Texas. And I start going through this shit, and I talk in a southern accent for the next hour in a ridiculous accent to get help. And then they charge me $1,400 to replace my compressor, my air compressor for my air conditioner. I tell you right now, all I needed was a belt repair, but there was nothing I could do. They drove me to the nearest Super 8 motel and said, we got to wait for the part to get here from Atlanta. It's going to take about 2 days. Bro, you could have drove to Atlanta and got the part and drove back in less than 2 days. But we had to wait for 2 days. And I had to eat at a Waffle House next door. And I was stranded there. I'll never forget when I went to go pay the bill, my wife called me. And I was talking to the lady at the counter, and I'm paying the bill to leave. And I answered the phone. I said, hello? Who's this? She was on the other end going, ¿Qué? She said, what the hell are you saying? Who is this? And I said, oh, I'm just chilling right here. I'm about to get out of here soon. I'll get back with you. Let me hit you back. And hung up the phone. And I folded it because it was an old phone back then. We used to have the fold phones. And she was like, what the hell was that? So I get in the car. I'm driving to Florida. And she knew I'd been stranded there for 2 days. But she didn't know. I didn't tell her I was talking in some weird accent just to get help. Just to fit in. Guess what I don't do ever? I don't ever stop in Dillon, South Carolina. We don't get hotels there. We don't get gas there. We don't take bathroom breaks there. We drive through that little ass town, and we're never going back there under any circumstances. So when you're racially profiled and maybe a victim of racial slurs, I'd imagine you don't let any of your family become subject or victims of it. But Justin Fields didn't do anything of the sort. He just let his sister do her thing. Think about it. I don't believe him. I don't like Justin Fields. I hope he plays terrible this year and they don't take his fifth-year option. I hope they say, we don't want this guy for the future, and that's why they got all the draft capital, and get yourself a new quarterback next draft because there's really good ones. Go grab one. Just saying. Where does Florida's running back room stand in your mind? Caleb Brook, Florida's running back room is outside of my top 15, and that includes adding Cam Carroll to it. They're just not quite there. There's better running backs in other running back rooms that can start over both of their guys. And I'm just, Johnson and Etienne are both very good running backs. They can't start at some of these other schools. Neither one of them. So it is what it is. Jeremy Bloom was dope on those moguls. Yep. Shout out to him. And he was a great wide receiver. Sorry, this just cut. Sorry, guys. Olympic snowboarder. They do not know where Eric Bieniemy went to school. Exactly. What do you think the top 3 hardest positions are in football? Number 1, Ahmad Davis is quarterback. Playing quarterback is the hardest thing there ever was in sports, period. At no point in the history of our existence, in the history of mankind, has there ever been 32 good quarterbacks on the planet Earth. I want you to think about that. There are only 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and we've never once had a moment where all 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL were good. So in the history of humans, we've never had 32 people on the planet Earth that can do that job at that level. That's how I view it. Quarterback's impossible. Okay, and I'm not just talking about threading the needle, throwing a football. We talk about that all the time. We see high school tape. We're like, look at this guy's arm. Look at his mobility. No. Playing quarterback, pre-snap reads, managing the game clock, the play clock, getting in and out of huddles, calling the plays, reading defenses, audibles and adjusting. Right? You go up to the line of scrimmage with choice routes. The defense is trying to trick you. There's 11 guys on the other side of the ball, paid professionals, 11 paid professionals trying to stop you. It's an incredibly hard job. Second hardest job to me is center. Playing the center snap, having a man rub your nuts every single play and trying to have a mean streak while another man is groping you with the back of his hand, just brushing up against your softest spot. Not cool with it. No, playing center is difficult because you have to snap the ball and block. Shout out to those centers who pull. Pulling centers is just out of this world. They also call the blocking scheme. They have everything that's difficult for them to do. So those are the two. And then the third hardest position in football to me, kicker. Kicker. I think it's almost impossible to be a good kicker in the league and be appreciated because you can be Mike Vanderjagt and they'll cut you. The greatest, most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL, and they just got rid of his ass. They're like, hey, man, we don't care. You're just a kicker. Get out of here. You're not even a football player. And then every now and then, you're expected to make a tackle on a kickoff return and against the most athletic dude in the world, and he makes you look silly. I think kicker's very hard. There you go. Quarterback, center, kicker. Realistically, it's left tackle, but I just wanted to go with kicker. Left tackle, you're up against the most athletic people in the world. At defensive end, yes, defensive ends are the most athletic. Their size and athleticism combination is insane. These Colorado fans don't even know Bieniemy went there. They don't even know Bieniemy played football, Robert Lopez. They think Bieniemy's just a black coach who's not getting hired. They don't even know he played football. What does it take at 4? Who do I take at 4 in fantasy football? I have no idea on the format, how many teams. I have no idea on the scoring mechanisms. I won't say who to take at 4 until after the preseason because we don't know about injuries. Allen averaging 12 interceptions a year since coming into the league. Steve, I can go on and on and on. Look at how many fumbles he's averaging. And they have to recover him. His teammates have to recover him. Big deal. Steve, only one that doesn't do that is Rodgers. Everybody throws interceptions. Oh, Marcus Stewart, you're one of those guys. And a Ron favorite center. Yeah. And AAA Ron. Okay. Who is in your top 5 NFL quarterbacks? Influential, Joe Burrow, Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, and pick one. Sup, Rico? Just dropping into the show. Support for another 33. Thank you very much, Swamp. I appreciate you, brother. I mean, that's from the bottom of my heart, man. Never mention race. What year do you think Florida will be able to compete with the top SEC teams based on recruiting right now? When they get the coach of the future, when they get a 5-star quarterback? Recruiting doesn't matter. Recruiting isn't the issue. You got to win in the transfer portal. Don't lose your players to the portal and get a hell of a transfer portal class. That matters. Recruiting, get all the recruits you think you're going to get, but they're going to leave. They're going to leave. That's what they're doing. And if you win, they stay. Rico, the Pac-12 appears to want leverage streaming providers like Apple. Do you think that's a successful model, or does it have to be on traditional TV network? J-Lo, so it's working for MMA. UFC is doing streaming only. They're not on traditional TV networks. It's working for UFC. I don't think it works for an entire football conference with different fan bases that aren't quite as solidified. I don't think it's a good move. You don't want to be the only one doing it. That's all I'm saying. But it is thinking forward. In the future, it'll be real. Watching Top 50, drinking my coffee. I turn the sound down and listen to Rico for UFC. Thank you very much, Tom Rose. I appreciate you. I catch the stream every time I can. Thank you, Kamani Ross. You're the best. Whenever I'm scrolling on TikTok, I stumble onto a Rico video. I head to the page, get caught up. That's what I'm talking about, Robert. That's what we do around here. That's what we do around here. Dylan Lotta, man, this is accurate, and you haven't even told the story. That place is horrible. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Oh, Dylan, South Carolina. Yeah, oh my goodness. Have you made a video on the Week 0 games? I have, Connor. I talked about the Week 0 games and who I wanted. Been watching your TikTok since the 11:28. It's 11:28, not 11:82. Love your content. Keep up the work. Thank you very much, Will Dunbar. Who are the top 6 wide receivers on the Packers? It's a very young and unproven group, so I'm curious to hear your take. Try Glass, and I owe you an answer. I don't have the top 6 Packers wide receivers ranked right now. It would take me some time. It would take me 5 minutes, but I'm not there. Coach, how do you feel about Baker Mayfield? I feel like he's terrible, but some other people think he's okay. How do you feel? Blunts on Paper podcast. He started over 60 games in the NFL. He has over 100 touchdowns. He's a very good quarterback. People don't understand what they're seeing. They just want to go and say he's terrible because he makes one read and throws the ball. Baker Mayfield has done a lot more at the quarterback position than many. He's better than Trey Lance. He's better than Jordan Love. He's had a lot more success than either one of those guys on the field. Nobody's talking about it, okay? He's better than Carson Wentz. He's better than so many of their options. He's better than Kyle Trask. Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback. You guys just don't realize it. He's thrown 100 touchdowns, won a playoff game. It's a good player. Won a playoff game with the Browns. Okay? That's ridiculous. It's on my channel. I always wanted my film reviewed. Cool. They filmed Deliverance down in South Carolina. Got to watch yourself down there. I'm telling you. Coach, running backs are so big part of the game. How would you fix the pay discrepancy in the NFL to get these running backs paid? Pretty simple. I would set limits on position groups. So I would pre-allocate. So the salary cap's the salary cap. But then I would just say these position groups can only earn this much of the salary cap. So you put a percentage limitation on it. For example, quarterbacks, 20% of the salary cap. You just start limiting salary cap by position groups. And that's your only way to combat it. Outside of that, there's nothing to do. Nothing you can do about it. When will Ole Miss give Miles Farmer from Nebraska a scholarship? Well, he's not technically off the Nebraska football team. He's not kicked off the team. He's just indefinitely suspended. That does not mean you're off the team. So if he enters the transfer portal, then he'll get a scholarship from Ole Miss. For sure. Bro, I spend the night in Dillon, South Carolina. Guy at the hotel came to the counter wearing just drawers. I got treated the same way. If it makes you feel better, pulling out the accent next time through. Yeah, so what I didn't tell you guys is the people who owned the car repair place, the mechanic shop, his brother owned that hotel. So he got his brother 2 nights of business while I had to stay there and wait. Yep, he was just hooking his brother up to get a local vagabond to come through. Yep. Adam Vinatieri isn't the best. I believe he's the best kicker. He's not the most accurate in the history of the NFL. At least he wasn't when Mike Vanderjagt played. The record for wide receiver in the NFL of catching a ball is 21 times in the same game. The running back touched the ball 23 times, and the pay difference is so much. Explain that to me. So running backs touch the ball more than 23 times. There's been running backs carry the ball 40, 50 times. The pay difference is pretty simple. It's supply and demand. Supply and demand, and your ability to do more with less. So you can pay a guy the league minimum, and he's going to be just as good as a guy you're paying $10 million to. That's the reality of the situation. Undrafted free agent running backs make it in the NFL. Undrafted free agent wide receivers do not. They just don't. They draft 33 wide receivers. They don't draft 33 running backs. There's a lot more wide receivers, and they are more dynamic. Running backs, dime a dozen. What's good, Rico? Just wondering, any updates on Nigel Glover? None right now. They have him at 100% going to Ohio State. Josh Allen has recorded 50 turnovers in the last 2 seasons. Talk about selling your team the game. I'm trying to tell you guys. I heard Nickelodeon just backed out of talks for Pac-12 negotiations. Woo! Pete Golden is already making a huge impact here in Oxford. The amount of transfers we've gotten defensively are insane. Hopefully these guys will pan out. So they won't pan out, Ryan Ray. A lot of times coaches will over-recruit certain position groups so the other teams don't get them. I just want to make that very clear. I think there's at least 10 transfers that will never see the field for Ole Miss. I'm not even joking. I've assessed it, and I'm going, why did he go there? Why did he go there? I keep saying that over and over and over for so many different transfers. At least 10 won't see the field. It's just to take them so Auburn doesn't get them. What schools have the top transfer retention rate? Winning programs, schools with a lot of, number one, the service academies don't have very much turnover on the transfer portal. But guys like JMU, Sam Houston State, they had very little turnover in the transfer portal. Teams with coaching staffs. Now, I need everybody to understand. Teams that sent 20 guys to the portal, it's not because the players wanted to leave. It's not because the players wanted to leave. It's because they wanted the players to leave. Like, Bama had 20-something guys hit the portal. Nick Saban sent those 20 guys to the portal. He needs to make room for the 25 he just signed out of high school. They don't have scholarships available. They keep signing 25. They're signing full recruiting classes every year. And then whoever they missed on in the recruiting class, they send them to the portal. So it's a little different on some of the other schools. They're not doing that. But continuity-wise, I'm really impressed with certain teams who kept their team together and didn't lose all their players. That's all I'll say. You're a Georgia hater for no reason. First and foremost, let me go back up here. Jam Griffin, Coastal Carolina rumor. Okay, cool. When he goes, I'll report about it. That's a great move. You're a Georgia hater for no reason. Number one, Trent Rafter, that's the wrong version of the word your. You're using a contraction, and I'm not talking about giving birth. You're combining two words, you and R. So I want you to do Y-O-U''RE. Your. You are a Georgia hater for no reason. No, I dislike Georgia for their inability to hold players accountable for their misconduct. That's it. That's it. Hold players accountable for their misconduct. Like, I'm going to go over the transfer portal right now. And if you look at the transfer portal, there's a kid in here who got arrested. Tyreek Presley got arrested for a gun charge. Got removed and kicked out of school at Tulane. If that happened at Georgia, he'd just be in the starting lineup. It's a Georgia kid, by the way. You got it twisted, bro. My issue is I do have a reason. They don't punish their players. You talk about how Georgia's players turn out to be busts, but in your running back university video, you said colleges have no control over how players do in the NFL. Hypocrite. So, Georgia players turn out to be busts. It has nothing to do with how they're playing on the field. It has to do with the fact that Georgia players have character concerns and the University of Georgia doesn't address them or make them public. Therefore, no one knows about them. So when they get drafted by a team, they just magically become a bust. I don't even use the term bust. Isaiah Wilson. Nobody talked about him. And then he gets 2 DUIs in his first 6 months in the NFL. Gets arrested 3 times in his first season in the NFL. You think that all happened magically 3 months after leaving Georgia? Like he was a saint and he was great at Georgia, and then 3 months later, he started becoming this career criminal? Wake up, bruh. You ever seen a troubled adolescent? And you look at that kid, and he's like a teenager, and he's breaking the law and doing shit, and you look at him and go, man, where are your parents? Man, who didn't spank you? Why don't you respect authority? What's wrong with you? You ever seen that? All right, so when you see a troubled early 20-something-year-old, ask yourself, man, where's the team that was supposed to make you a professional? Where's the team that was supposed to teach you the standards of being a professional? Where's the team that was preparing you to do this for the rest of your life? Who hid all this shit from us? Hypocrite. Thanks for watching my videos, Trent. You're a hater. You don't like me, but you watch my videos. What a hypocrite. NFL teams should heavily front-load contracts for running backs and make it easy for them to move on after 2 to 3 years. I think the opposite, Triglasson. Triglasson, I think you should draft running backs in the first round. Get 5 years out of them. Because when you draft somebody in the first round, you get a 5th-year option. So even if they're great, even if they lead the league in rushing, you get that 5th-year option. That's cheaper than the franchise tag. And then after that 5th year, get rid of him. Get some draft capital for him. Don't re-sign him. I don't care how old he is. He can be 25. He can be 28. Get rid of him. That's what you do. You get the most juice for your squeeze and keep it moving. College football scheduling idea. Everyone builds in an open date into their schedule. Then the fans vote to pair up the matchups. No thanks. No thanks, J-Lo. I don't like fans. Fans are fanatics. Fans are severely uneducated. Fans are named Trent Rafter. And they're going to vote for something ridiculous. No thanks. Hard pass. Okay, I was just asking because most training camps start this week. Do you think the Pac-12 media deal will have similar prorated payout bullet point as the Big 12 for expansion? No, Robert Lopez, but they should. I hope they learn from everybody. I hope they have it out there. and they tell them we plan to grow, and the only way to grow is to have a prorated, payout for anybody who joins. It's a great idea. I think it should be the standard moving forward. But yeah, it's there. I shouldn't say no. I think the answer should be yes. Thoughts on Clemson potentially joining the Big Ten? I don't like rumors. When it happens, we'll talk about it. When and if it happens. I know you got all the good news. I always wonder, what is Andrew look up to these days? Do you know? Andrew Luck. I have no clue about Andrew Luck. That's not a football player, bro. That's a philosophy major. I don't even know. I'm a total bandwagon CU fan. I'm a Coach Prime fan. But Bloom was a sixth year and played for the Eagles. There we go, Matt. Shout out to Marquise Willis, 0-star to Ole Miss. Made a video on it. Convict U. Georgia set up Isaiah Wilson to fail. Say it again for the people in the back. Thought on Oklahoma moves for the 2024 class. Don't care about any 2024 class. Eric Bieniemy went to Bishop Amat. There we go. Amat was good. Yeah, they were. Anyway, do you think USC can go at least 5-1 their last 6? It's a brutal second half of the schedule. Yeah, Coach AD, I think USC has the potential to go undefeated. They have the best team. They have a superiorly talented team. Are they going to go undefeated? I don't know. But they have the talent to go undefeated. Georgia versus Ole Miss might just be the longest yard 2.0. Georgia fan base is the most sensitive collection of princesses I've ever encountered. What makes a fan base so soft and pouty? A mix of DNA. A mix of DNA, like two cousins. A mix of chromosomes. It's just a family tree that doesn't split. Rico, not a gentle parent. Nah. Nigel Glover just committed to Ohio State. Yeah, I made a video about it this morning. Rico is a senior leader in the military. You're surprised he's not a gentle parent. I'm not, I've been a senior leader in the military for 2 decades now. I lead men into battle. I lead men who put on a daily battle uniform. Like, what are we doing? You don't even want to see people think my soldiers are tough. Like, you ever seen a drill sergeant on TV? Yeah, I'll rank all drill sergeants in the entire world. Every single drill sergeant in the world has to stand with their hands through their back when talking to me. This is not a game. Apologize if I'm a little too rough, a little too abrasive. I don't care. I'm not sorry. I shouldn't apologize. They have Glover listed as a linebacker. That's cool. He's a mobile linebacker. Got under Rico's skin. Not at all, Trent Rafter. He knows he's a hypocrite. Talking about character concerns like he didn't leave his wife after she lost a close family member and just spent time at the strip club. Trent Rafter, you don't know me, bruh. You don't know me. Rico, hot take. Louisville has a top 5 transfer portal and top 10 wide receiver core in the country. That's not a hot take at all, Popo. That's not a hot take at all. That's spot on, and I've been saying that all year. They're the business. They're the business. Has there been any generational prospects since 2010 in your eyes? If so, who? Trevor Lawrence. First thought, Trevor Lawrence. Rico, thoughts on Squirrel White? Beast. Shout out to Alabama. Shout out to Tennessee. Good player in high school. Good player in college. I hope he does well at Tennessee. I know he worked hard this summer. Him and, what's his name? Jalen? The quarterback. Caleb at Louisville. Yep. Transferred. Now at Blinn. Like this live. Press the thumbs up, folks. Thank you very much. We got 26 likes right now. I want you guys to know the highest amount of likes we've ever had is 79. We're trying to break the 79 record. We never get there, but I wish we could do it. It was on the 21st of July. 79 likes. Most likes ever. We do have views in the 2000s for the live stream, so that doesn't bother me. We're fine. Colorado goes 3-0 first 3 games. Kai Jimenez, hell of a call. It's all good. I love it. Do you have thoughts on the Utah running back room? Yeah, it's pretty damn good, Robert Lopez. It's pretty damn good. As long as Mekhi Bernard can embrace his backup role, it's pretty good. Have you commented on FSU possibly moving to Big Ten? That's a possible move. No, I don't talk about rumors. I don't even waste time on rumors. All right, let's go. Transfer portal. I just want to talk about it real quick. Senda going to Auburn. All right, Northwestern guys are wanted and needed. Rayvon Johnson. This is a kid. Excuse me. I got to take this phone call. Give me a second here. Sorry about that. Very important phone call. All right, back to the transfer portal list here. We got Rayvon Johnson. This is a kid that was supposed to go to Citadel, just enrolled this year, and then he was about to start, and then he just hit the JUCO, and he's gone. Now, he played at Grayson High School here in Georgia, so I saw him play. Very good player. I was surprised he was going to Citadel to begin with. Going to the JUCO, I assume he thinks he belongs at the FBS level. We'll see. Call it a good day. Phil Jeffs, another guy who thinks he belongs at the FBS level, but he doesn't. This is a Canadian, okay? This is a guy from Canada, played high school ball in Connecticut, but he's really from Canada. If you guys didn't know, there are about 50 or 60 colleges in Canada that play college football, and then they feed the CFL. The CFL has to have a certain number of Canadian football players. So Canada has its own college football, and I think Phil Jeffs is going to end up in Canada because he's just not built for it. Leaving UMass, never played at UMass, didn't play the first year and then redshirted last year. I don't see anything else going on with him. Like I said, Tyreek Presley kicked off the team at Tulane. He'll be stuck in the portal. I don't see him going anywhere. This is a guy, he was 6'2", 200 pounds coming out of high school, wide receiver, gets to Tulane. They move him to defensive back. He's grown 2 inches, so he's 6'4", 200 pounds. I get it. He's got intriguing size. But I never saw him do anything worth talking about. And the fact that he used a gun, I think it was either shot a gun at Mardi Gras or pointed it at somebody. It was bad. But he got arrested, and they kicked him off the team. Jacob Schuster, this is one of those kids. He's from Washington, actually, in high school, at Minnesota, 4-star kid. This is one of those 2020 recruits where they didn't really go home and do their homework and find out the truth about this kid. Not a good football player. That's all there is to it. Not a good football player. Been there for 3 years, and in 3 years he has 1 tackle at Minnesota. Couldn't play at Minnesota. They told me he's a 4-star kid. He was the 2A player of the year out of Washington. I don't know where he goes. I think he's an FCS guy. He should look into Idaho. If you're asking me, he should look into Idaho. I just don't know what else he does or where he goes, but we'll see. Not a troubled kid at all. Chris Graves magically found an offer out of Ole Miss, so he's going. Dudley kicked off of Clemson. We've talked about it. Let's talk about Chris Morris. Chris Morris, coming out of high school, was Mr. 4-star, Mr. Fancy, all this shit. And he went to Texas A&M for 1 year. It didn't work out. So then he went to Hutchinson for 1 year, JUCO. Then he left, and he went back to Memphis, where he's from. In high school, he played at Memphis. Now, he's a homeschool kid, part of the PURE program, P-U-R-E, all caps. I don't know what it stands for. But Chris Morris is not a good football player. He didn't play at Memphis. So he transfers to Memphis after leaving Hutchinson, and then he just gets in the portal right now. Of all the times to get in there, he didn't get in there he didn't get in the spring, the winter, nothing. He just got there. What a waste. I wonder where he ends up. Somebody's going to give him a shot because of his size and his notoriety of being a big recruit. But to me, he's he's Devontae Dobbs 2.0. If you come down here, obviously Nigel Glover's there going to Ohio State. But if you come down here to Devontae Dobbs was a Michigan State guy coming out of high school. 4-star, supposed to save Michigan State. He went to Michigan State coming out of high school with a high school teammate of his named Julian Barnett. They both went to Michigan State. Neither one of them could start. They're a package deal. So they both transfer to Memphis. They've been at Memphis for the last 3 years. Neither one of them can still start. Devontae Dobbs has never started. And, Julian's played a little bit, but he's still a backup. He's a senior, a redshirt senior. He's still a backup. So now you got Devontae Dobbs getting in the portal. Whatever, man. I just don't see it. I'm not with it. Mackenzie Barnes leaving Hawaii. He was at Hawaii last year. I never saw him play. He's not leaving Hawaii. He never played for Hawaii. He played 4 years at Arizona, and then he transferred to Hawaii, but I never saw him anywhere. I looked for him all season. So to me, Mackenzie Barnes is probably a candidate to transfer to UMass. Go play for his old defensive coordinator in Don Brown, if they want him. I don't know where he ends up. Personally, I don't know where he ends up. I think he probably should go to like NAU or, I don't know, Northern Colorado, something like that. Aaron Jones, didn't see much from him last year. I think he needs to go to the FCS level. That's not what I want to talk about. Nate Jefferson needs to go to FCS level as well. This guy couldn't be the star wide receiver at FIU. Tyrese Chambers was their best wide receiver. He transferred to Maryland. And Nate Jefferson is like a super role player at FIU. One of the worst teams in the FBS. You can't even be on the field. 3 years, I'm telling you, he's never had more than 10 receptions in any season. 4 receptions, 5 receptions, 6 receptions, something like that. It's crazy. Aaron Bedgood, I like Aaron Bedgood. He's been there for 3 years at Coastal Carolina. A little 5'7" dude, little gadget player. I don't know where he ends up. I think he needs to go to like Campbell or something. But there's not much left in the transfer portal. Just kids keep showing up. I just wanted to go over them. Go back over to the chat and we'll call it a night. What do we got? How do you think Brennan Thompson and Andrew Anthony works out for Oklahoma this year? Give Stoops other bodies to get open. Yeah. Hope they get him the ball. They need some wide receivers. Hope they get him the ball. Hope they do well. Hope they avoid the injury bug. Austin Jones, big year ahead. No shit. No shit. Rico, thoughts on conference realignment? None really, Peter. It's just part of the job. It's just part of what happens. Conferences move all the time. They've been realigning. It is what it is. Graves was a guy I was going to mention. We've gotten a lot of corners in the portal. My favorite is Deshaun Gaddy. So Deshaun Gaddy Jr. from North Texas, people started talking about him recently and saying he's the best returning corner in the SEC. He's the best corner. They're saying all this. I can't stand the hype because they weren't talking about him when he was at North Texas. Like when I tell you guys a Conference USA corner is the best corner, or I tell you Starling Thomas V is the best corner, everybody just rolls their eyes and go, he doesn't even play in the SEC. He doesn't play in the. But the minute one of these great group of 5 players transfers to the SEC, now you guys magically start talking about him. Shout out to Osiris Thomas. Shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs. Hendon Hooker. Now you guys magically start vouching for these dudes. I tell you all about these group of 5 players. You guys don't say shit about them. Then the minute they transfer to the SEC, now you think they're great. Makes me sick. Would you agree North Carolina high schools are top 5 producing football players in the nation? So it's not up for debate. North Carolina produces the 4th most NFL players in the nation, only behind Texas, California, Florida, and then 4th is North Carolina. And it's because the colleges are up the trajectory. Yeah, shout out to you. Thoughts on Lincoln Riley cooking? The cooking tastes great. Great show, Rico. Thank you very much, guys. Chris Henry Jr. committing to OSU. Don't care. Hopefully he stays committed. He'll change his mind. Then he'll hit the transfer portal when he doesn't make the 2 deep. I don't talk about recruits, guys. With the running back situation, should high school players move to wide receiver? No, they should go where they fit. You can't just move to wide receiver if you can't catch, if you're not the right metrics. I don't see a bunch of wide receivers 5'8", 200 pounds. Should I have any expectation for Destin Hill? How often does a guy with his path pan out? They do. They pan out. He's going to sit this year, and we'll see what happens. Or he's going to play. Who knows? But they do. They work out. He's there for a reason. He's got talent, right? I talked about him in one of my videos months ago. He's got talent. We'll see if he can make it happen. Thank you, guys. I know all about Nigel Glover, man. It's not a big deal. Why is everybody talking about this? Thank you guys for saying everything. And said he's going to prove you wrong. Rico, he's going for 1,500 yards. I think I said Dorian Singer. You misspelled his name. I think I said Dorian Singer is going to go for a ton of yards. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, supporting the show. And remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.
Move I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove there's strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify. The things that you believe in have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just